Hello. During the early years of Gorbachev's Soviet reforms, perestroika to the Russians, and glasnost, which meant openness, you know, you came out with the problems of what was wrong with Russia. You didn't try and hide anything, or with the Soviet system, you didn't try and hide anything. The joke was about this guy who goes to buy a pack of, I don't know what, a pack of cigarettes. And he asks the assistant how much they are. And the assistant says, well, it used to be 70 rubles, now it's 100 rubles. Why? Well, because of perestroika, restructuring, you know, market forces and that sort of thing. Okay, says the man, and he hands the assistant the 100 ruble note, and the assistant says, okay, and hands him back 50 rubles. And the guy says, what happened? Where are my cigarettes? Why am I getting 50 rubles? And the shop assistant says, well, you see, there aren't any cigarettes because of perestroika. So why don't you give me my whole 100 rubles back? Ah, the 50 rubles, that's for the glasnost. Right, so now we're back to those days somewhat, with an article in the Telegraph which has a slightly dishonest headline. It says here, tasty but that's it. Tasty but that's it is the name of the Russian substitute restaurant, cafe, eatery is a better word, that's taken over McDonald's role in society right now. And I think actually tasty but that's it is rather a good name for an eatery. Anyway, tasty but that's it. Diners mourn the Big Mac as Kremlin version of McDonald's opens. And then it says, hundreds queued in Moscow for the opening of the copycat restaurant, which has echoes of its predecessor, including old logos blacked out. Now, you see, it says diners mourn the Big Mac, but I don't think they do. I don't think they're mourning the Big Mac at all, not from the way this report is going anyway. They seem fairly happy, by and large, with the Russian substitute. Now, you see, this is what's been bothering me since I heard this story about the substitute items which Russia is coming up with. There's the car. There's a car which used to be Lada and Renault mashup, really, and they are now producing that car again, the same shape and everything, but it's missing a lot of the sort of luxuries that you would get in a Renault. Since Renault pulled out, they can't find the parts. They can't put ABS, the braking system in anymore, so they've just got standard disc brakes, I suppose, and they don't have airbags, I believe, or the GPS that came standard with the standard Renault. So those sorts of things. It's a very basic car, but when you get one of those, you get what you need. I mean, you need a vehicle, and if that's all that's available, then that's what you'll get. And the price has gone up as well. So that's a slightly different situation from the Big Mac, because you don't need a Big Mac. And so why would you go to a restaurant where the government is substituting a type of food for another type of food from a foreign country that is no longer available? It's been puzzling me. It's been puzzling me. That's the best word for it. Why? The Russians have very good food of their own, but they're going for Big Macs, and Big Macs are hardly sophisticated dining. The Golden Arches and the Big Mac have gone, and nobody's quite sure about the new name. But after a 3-month wait, Russians can now feast on the Kremlin's version of McDonald's. Most of the visitors on Sunday insisted it was delicious. So you see, there's the dishonesty, because the headline says they're mourning the lack of the Big Mac. And here the text says it was delicious. I just want you to be aware of that. This is the Telegraph. It's supposed to be an honest paper. And by and large it is, but they couldn't resist this, could they? Just because Russia's on the wrong side doesn't mean to say you have to be inaccurate about your reporting of them. Okay, so it was delicious and tasty, I think, Andre said with a grin after finishing his meal. And what else? And so somebody else said, it's a shame, I'll really miss the Big Mac because it was my favourite food, said Dimitri, an aviation student. Now, despite Kremlin bluster over import substitution, the Big Mac appears to have become a victim of Western sanctions. A tasty and that's it waitress told the Telegraph that it had to be taken off the menu because the company couldn't buy the essential lettuce. And there were other signs of a hasty rebrand and relaunch. Much of the packaging for fries, burgers and drinks was plain white, while takeaway bags were brown. And, you know, that in my opinion, not a huge problem. Those French fries look perfectly fine to me. And so it seems like it's a reasonable forgery of McDonald's, and I don't see a problem with that, except for one thing, and it's probably encapsulated in this picture here. Now, this is the advert for, you know, for this particular item, and it says here, dvojnoj. Dvojnoj means double, and that's fine. There's your Russian word. The next word there underneath, though, is something else. That says cheeseburger. You might say burger. Well, you know, that's just a name for that particular type of meat combination. So you could say that's international. But cheese, no, that's English. Or in this case, American. And this gave me a lot of pause for thought. Why? Why are the Russians still coming to this place as a forgery of a not very good product anyway? It's hardly nutritious, it's full of fat, doesn't taste of anything very much. And it struck me that what they were there for was not the food, but the label. It's like pouring average plonk into a Chateau Neuf de Pape bottle. And you've got the label there, so that makes it Chateau Neuf de Pape. You may get that feeling of being sophisticated from drinking plonk out of a Chateau Neuf de Pape labelled bottle. And the people who are going to this cafe, they're doing it not because the food is marvellous or even quite reasonably priced or whatever, it probably isn't, but because it offers them an escape to America. And that's why you want your cheeseburger with cheese, not with sir, which is the Russian. It's not a sir burger. I mean, it means that on a level, the Russians know that they're in the doghouse. There's all this, tough it out, we'll go back to our old ways, we'll make our own burgers. But what they are doing, they are making Renault cars that aren't Renaults, and they are making cheeseburgers that aren't McDonald's. They are taking other people's culture. They don't seem to have anything of their own. Now they do. There are plenty of very nice Russian foods. Very good. Why aren't there cafes all over the place, you know, where people are queuing for hours to get blinis or whatever? Or even borscht. Borscht is very nice. It's because they want to get away from it. They want to forget that this is Russia for a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Just by chomping down on that soggy mass of bread and fried meat, oily meat. That takes them away. The flagship Moscow restaurant is among 15 rebranded outlets opening around the capital, with 200 more restaurants set to open in Russia by the end of June and all 850 by the end of the summer. And it means the Russian government is really working hard to reproduce these cafes, these restaurants, these eateries, so that people don't feel they're missing out. They're, you know, bread and circuses. You watch the television and you get the McDonald's buns. Keep their minds off what's going on. Inside the Pushkin Square restaurant has only been given a light redecoration and the new uniforms, but very similar to the original McDonald's. Now, just before I carry on, you see, this is what makes it even more odd, is the Russians have been given to understand by their television and radio and everything Putin said and the news and everything, that they are basically at war with America. America is really the bad guy. America wants to take over the world. America is directing NATO and trying to, you know, prop up a Nazi regime and take over in Ukraine and take over Russia. And yet they're desperate to eat this American food. Now, in Britain, when Britain was at war with Germany, no one would have dreamt of opening, I don't know what, a German sausage restaurant or whatever. Nobody wanted to go to Germany, even for a few minutes in a restaurant. Can you see the difference? There's a sort of double layer going on in the Russian mind. Mikhail Gorbo said that he had travelled from Samara in central Russia for the relaunch of the Tasty and That's It restaurant. Hello, I am interrupting myself. I hope you'll forgive me, and I hope you'll forgive me as well, Demi. Right, because I just had to mention something. While I was editing the video, a light struck me, well, a thunderbolt struck me rather, and it's this chap, Mikhail Gorbo, 38, who said that he travelled from Samara in central Russia for the relaunch, and he was wearing a baseball cap, sort of stealing the American symbolism of Make America Great Again, forging it and turning it into something else. A baseball cap with the letter Z on it, and then he had a Russian flag painted on his cheeks. And he says he's come from Samara in central Russia, all the way from there to see the opening, just when that journalist was there. I do not believe it. And I believe it even less when I see the fact that he calls himself Mikhail Gorbo, which is very similar to Mikhail Gorbachev, the ex-president or general secretary or whatever he was of Russia or the Soviet Union when it fell apart. And it's just an odd name for such an odd person. And so it looks like not only is this person, I mean, we're sitting here in a forgery of a McDonald's, and that person there is a forgery of a patriot painted up to look like one, giving a forgery of enjoyment in what's going on in Russia. It's just a marvellous encapsulation of everything that's going wrong in that country. And I just thought I'd add this into my video just to share that with you. Okay, well, that's it. Carry on, Demi. Everything is as good as I hoped it would be, and I hope it will be even better. I can do without a Big Mac. But no, you see, he's not doing without a Big Mac. He's eating a forgery of a Big Mac. And then, again, as if in answer to what I was saying, not that everyone agrees, at the end of the official press conference marking the opening of the Kremlin's rebranded McDonald's, an anti-Putin protester stood up with a banner that read, "Bring back the Big Mac." Now, do you think this protester actually was talking about a piece of oily meat in a bun? No way. That's not what that protester was talking about, is it? Okay, I am Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. If you want to be sure of getting a notification of my uploads, subscribe to me on @granniopteryx on Twitter, Gab and Parler, where I always let you know when I've put up a new video. And please like this video, share it, subscribe to whichever platform, I suppose it's a platform, isn't it, that you're watching me on. And yeah, like, share, subscribe. Oh yeah, contribute to the channel if you can. And until next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.